Hi, I'm here again. My name is Gloria Robert, and today we shall be looking at the topic growth. Objectives of lesson. As the lesson progresses, the learners should be able to 1. Define growth. 2. Mention at least two differences between growth in plants and growth in animals. 3. State the three bases of growth in cells. 4. List the regions of fastest growth in plants. And 5. Mention at least three factors that can affect growth. So what is growth? Growth is the irreversible or permanent increase in the length, mass, size, and complexity of an organism due to the production or the synthesis of new protoplasmic materials. Now remember that in our video on the cell, we said that the protoplasm of a cell is made up of the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So the nucleus and the cytoplasm are the protoplasmic materials we are discussing here. So when there are new nucleus or cytoplasm formed in the cell, growth is taking place in such a cell or organism. Now growth can be measured with different parameters. This is because growth is determined in different ways in different organisms. So the parameters, we can call them the aspect of growth. So let's look at the aspect of growth. We have 4 of them here. The first one is known as the mass. Now mass can either be wet mass or dry mass. The mass of an organism when it has water in it is called wet mass. And the mass of organism when it has no water is called the dry mass. So if there is increase in mass, definitely growth has taken place. Number 2 is size, length, and the weight of an organism. Increase in any of these definitely means growth has taken place. Number 3 is area of volume occupied by an organism. If the area of volume occupied by an organism increases, growth has occurred. And then number 4 here is increase in the number of cells. If the number of cells increase maybe from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, 16, definitely growth is taking place. And this you can see when microorganisms are cultured. To determine them, you just look at the number of microorganisms in the petri dish. Okay, let's look at the differences between growth in plants and growth in animals. Now in plants, number 1 point says growth is indefinite, while in animals growth is definite. Number 2, in plant growth is apical. It takes place only at the tip of the root or the shoot, while in animals growth is intercalary, meaning that it takes place at every part of the organism at the same time. And then number 3 point here is that under plant growth is continuous. It doesn't stop all through their lifetime, while in animals definitely growth is limited. It stops either at a particular age or at a particular time. So here are images showing growth in plant and growth in animal. To be specific here, growth in human. So let's look at the basis of growth. In multicellular organisms, the basis of growth are 1. Cell division, 2. Cell enlargement, and 3. Cell differentiation. The meaning is that for growth to have been taking place or to have taken place in an organism, all those 3 processes must take place. So we are going to be discussing them one after the other, and we'll start by looking at cell division. So what is cell division? This cell division is a process by which a single cell divides continuously into 2 daughter cells, then into 4, 8, and so on, thereby multiplying in number. So the essence of cell division is for cells to multiply. And this you can see in the image here. We have a single cell which divide, and then we have 2 daughter cells formed at the end. Now if you remember, one of the cell theories states that new cells are formed from pre-existing one. The meaning is that new cells are formed from old ones. How do this occur? Just by cell division. So during cell division, the old cell divides, and then we have new ones formed from the old one. So let's look at types of cell division. We have 2 types of cell division. The first one is called mitosis, or you can call it mitotic cell division. So what is mitosis? This is a type of cell division whereby two daughter cells are formed, and each of the daughter cell produced is a diploid cell. The meaning of diploid cell is that it has exact number of chromosomes as the parent cell. For example, if the parent cell has 46 chromosomes, the meaning is that the daughter cell too will have 46 chromosomes. Now, mitosis occurs in somatic cells. Somatic cells are also known as body cells. These are the cells in our body or in the body of organisms that are not involved in the production of gametes. Now, mitotic cell division takes place during growth and development or during asexual reproduction. So let's look at the stages of mitosis. The acronym for it is called IPMAT, IPMAT. Now, the IS stands for interphase. What happens during interphase? The chromosomes are thin, so they are not visible or clear to the eyes. And at this stage, there is no cell division, and so the cells are said to be resting. And this you will see in the part of our image labeled 1. Number 2 is the P, that is the prophase. What happens during prophase? Now, the chromosomes begin to shorten, and so they become visible or clearer. The centrioles are formed at the poles, so also a rope-like structure known as the spindle fibers are also formed. And this you will see in the part of the image labeled 2. The third one is the M, which is the metaphase. What happens during metaphase? The spindle attach themselves to the chromosomes, and so the chromosomes are arranged or they are aligned at the equator or the center of the cell in a straight line. And this you will see in the part labeled 3. Now, number 4 is that the chromatids pulls apart. That means the chromosomes pulled apart, and so we have some going to the north pole and some going to the south pole of the cell. And that you will see in the part labeled 4. So the chromosomes separate and move apart. The number 5 is the telophase. That is our T. The cell begins to divide at this point. The first thing that happens is that the nucleus divides into 2, then the cytoplasm divides into 2, and then each of them form around each of the nucleus, and so 2 daughter cells are formed, and this you can see at the part labeled 5. Note that the chromatids will have 2 chromatids forming a chromosomes, and these 2 chromatids join together at a point known as centromere. This you will see in the one labeled or numbered 3. Okay, so take your time and go through the images here. Remember that mitosis means IPMAT. So the second type of cell division is known as meiosis or mitotic cell division. Now, meiosis is a process whereby a single cell divides twice to produce 4 daughter cells. Now, each cell contains half the number of chromosomes in the parent cells, and so it is said to be haploid. Haploid means half the number of chromosomes in the parent cell. For example, if a parent cell has 46, then the daughter cell will have 23, half. Now, this cell division takes place during gamete formation, and so it involves what we call crossing over of nucleic acid or chromosomes, and this takes place at the chiasmata. In another word, meiosis takes place during sexual reproduction. Now, meiosis occurs in sex cells such as the sperm cells in male or the egg cells or ovum in the female. So let's look at the stages of meiosis. Now, take note, we have 9 stages, and here the cells divide, or the cells involved divide twice. Okay, so the stages, we have the IPMAT, which is the normal stage, just like in mitosis. So we have interphase, prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1, and then we have prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, and telophase 2. So acronym for that is IPMAT, PMAT, IPMAT, PMAT. Now take note of something. At prophase 1, chiasmata is formed, and it is at this chiasmata that crossing over of chromosomes or nucleic acid takes place. The meaning is that the chromosomes mixed together to bring about variation. So take notes, take time, and go through this image. So let's talk about the differences between mitosis and meiosis. Quite easy based on what we've done earlier. Now, mitosis, number one, it occurs in somatic cells, while meiosis occurs in gamete cells. Number two, under mitosis, 2 daughter cells are formed, but meiosis, 4 daughter cells are formed. Number 3, under mitosis, the cells are diploid cells, while in meiosis, the cells, that means the daughter cells formed, are haploid cells. Number 4, under mitosis, mitosis is necessary for growth, development, and repair. In another word, it takes place in asexual reproduction, while in meiosis, it occurs in sexual reproduction. Number 5, under mitosis, crossing over of chromosomes do not take place, while in meiosis, crossing over of chromosomes takes place. So I want to add some other points. So I'll say number 6. Now in mitosis, the nucleus divides once, while in meiosis, the nucleus divides twice. Number 7, under mitosis, chiasmata is not formed, but in meiosis, chiasmata is formed. After all, that is where the crossing over of chromosomes takes place. Then the last part, or the last point, that should be our number 8. Yes, under mitosis, the division is just once. The cell divides once, while in meiosis, the cell divides twice. 1, 2, once, twice. So take note of all of these 8 points. I think with these you should be able to answer any question on differences between mitosis and meiosis. So let's move on. So we'll continue from looking at the basis of growth. We started by looking at cell division. So the second one is cell enlargement. After the cell has divided, the next thing is for the cell to increase in size. So after cell division, the daughter cells increase in mass and sizes in order to become big or enlarged, and this you can see in the image opposite. You can see the cell very small, it's getting bigger, and then it's very big. Okay, the top part is cell differentiation. Now eventually each cell that is developed or formed during cell division now develop into a special type of cell. They become specialized. How do they do this? They begin to change shape and structure and then become a particular kind of cell in order to perform a particular kind of function. Okay, now here we have stem cell. The stem cell can change shape and structure and become the muscle cell, the blood cell, the nerve cell, the cardiac cell, and all kinds of cells in the body. And all these cells perform different or particular functions. Okay, now most specialized cells at maturity lose their ability to divide. So take note, go through the images in case you understand better. Okay, let's look at the regions of fastest growth in plants. We'll be talking more on animals, so we want to talk about plants now. Now since the growth in plants is apical, remember it takes place at the tip of either the root or the stem. So the regions of fastest growth in plants are the root apex or tip and the stem apex or tip. Okay, now looking at the image here, let's go down. We see the root of the plant, we see the tip of the root. Now after the root cap, you have the root apical. It contains lots of cells known as the meristematic cells or meristem. That is where growth actually occurs. So you can see that it is limited to only a particular point. Alright, let's look at the upper part, which is the stem or the shoot. At the tip we have the bud, apical bud. Alright, that is where growth occurs in the stem. Alright, also it contains what we call the meristem cells. Okay, so in the roots, the stem tip is a region where the cells divide rapidly. So it is divided into 3 regions, namely a region of cell division. Region of cell division. This is called the apical meristem. It has a lot of meristematic cells, and these cells can divide very fast. Then B is the region of elongation. After the cell division, the cells begin to elongate. Okay, and then the third is the region of cell maturation. This is the point when the cells begin to mature. It's similar to that of animals. In animals, we have cell division, yeah, cell enlargement, and the last one is cell differentiation, almost similar. Okay, so go through the image here. So let's move to the factors that can affect growth. This can be grouped into two. We have number one, the external factors. These are factors outside the cell that can affect the growth of an organism. Okay, and they include one, availability of nutrients. The kind of nutrient that is available to the organism can actually determine if the organism is going to grow well or not. For example, we human beings, we need food. If our food is rich in protein, grow well, good, and other nutrients. Now, humidity, light, temperature, pH, and accumulation of metabolic products are also factors that can affect growth, and they are external factors. When we say metabolic products, these are products that are produced in the body of an organism and stored there. Some of them are actually harmful, and so they might inhibit growth. So the second factor here, we call them internal factors. Okay, now these are factors that are found inside the body of the organism, ending up affecting the growth of the organism. They are mainly hormones. Okay, so the two major growth hormones in plants are called auxin and gibberellins. Auxin and gibberellins. And in animals, the two main growth hormones are called somatotropin and tyrosine. Somatotropin and tyrosine. Now, somatotropin hormones can also be called pituitrin, or simply known as the growth hormone. Okay, now over and under secretion of any of these hormones can lead to abnormal growth. So if you have too much hormone, more than the body needs being produced, it can lead to an organism being excessively tall, okay, abnormally tall. And when hormone is underproduced in the body, it can also lead to what, dwarfism, or the organism not growing as it's supposed to be. Wow, we have come to our students' activities. We have 10 questions for you to go through. Now attempt all those questions. If you have any challenge, please go back to the video, watch it again, listen to it, and at the end, I want to believe you'll be able to tackle all of the questions here. And here is the answer to the student's activity. So it's time for you to mark yourself. Remember, my desire is 100%, so I hope you have 100%. But in case you're having any challenge, go back to the video, watch, listen again, and you'll be able to. So remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, press the notification bells, view my videos, download if you have to, and then if you have any question, please drop your comments in the comment box. So at this moment, I want to say thank you for joining me in this class. Thanks for learning.